You've been in therapy for a year. You know when I ask you to talk about anything, I mean anything that affects you. What upset you, what made you mad or relieved or joyful. You want me to believe that this case means nothing? Then, why should I listen to it?
You charging me for this time?
Yes?
This is ridiculous.
What's that? On the back of your arm?
It's just a bruise, and I fell.
You remember falling?
No. I was drunk. Hence the balance issues.
Well, it looks like you fell on the tip of someone's boot.
I said something that someone objected to.
Well, if you don't remember, then how can you...
It's usually the way it is when someone hits me. People who kick when you're down are jerks, but they're generally not irrational jerks.
You got drunk enough to get into a bar fight and not remember, and you've been insisting that everything's fine? Why go out and get blind drunk? Were you looking for a fight?
I don't know.
What have you screwed up?
What?
You say that when you've been hit in the past, it's because you provoked it with something that you said, which means you're well aware of the risks. So on some level, you were in that bar looking for someone to hurt you. So logically, people punish themselves for something they did or something they didn't do. So what did you screw up?
I don't know. Okay, there may be a problem.
All right. Let's talk about Wilson.
I told him your book was contaminated with anthrax spores, and I gave him $300, the address of the buyer. Maybe I was hasty in asking you to move out. Why don't you stay with me and Sam for a little while? There's no need to hurry things.
What prompted this?
Look, the whole idea was that after Mayfield, you wouldn't be on your own. I can touch base with you a lot more easily if you're staying with me than...
God's sake, Wilson. You really span the chasm from wishy to washy. If you're gonna be an ass, be an ass. Stick with it.
Why were you being so hard on the guy when he was being conciliatory?
Come on. Cuddy played on his guilt. She put him up to this.
How do you know that? How do you know this wasn't entirely his own idea?
2 reasons. First, he wants to create the perfect environment to be with Sam. He's been thinking about asking me to leave for a while. Finally, he does it and immediately turns around and changes his mind. Now, he talked to somebody.
Maybe it was Sam.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
I want this to be the last serious relationship I ever have. I want this to be the one.
Me too. Where's House? It's not as meaningful without him.
Okay, not Sam. That still doesn't answer why Cuddy.
Because they've been talking about me. She called me to check on the patient, but she never does without a reason. I asked why, and she said...
She's a Barracuda attorney, House. These are the kind of patients we like to keep happy.
Right now, the patient's lucky if she can spell jurisprudence.
Yeah, but when she gets that memory back, which we are trying to make happen, she'll be able to spell lawsuit. I'm just touching base.
Touching base. Wilson used exactly the same phrase. Colluding about me is her favorite pastime.
Okay, you think they talked. How do you think that conversation went?
I'm worried about House.
Me too. Couldn't you have waited? It's way too early for him to be on his own, back in the old apartment. What makes you think he can handle it?
I offered to find him a new place.
You have to let him back into your condo.
Sam and I just got him out of the condo.
You know what House is like. He's self-destructive. Without constant supervision, he's gonna slide back into drugs. If you're not watching him, I've got to.
Yeah.
So they don't trust you. They assume you'll fail. Are these their fears or yours? Let's turn on the lights. In your brain. Maybe they did talk about you, but how do you know it didn't happen like this?
I'm worried about House.
Why?
It's the first time he'll be on his own since Mayfield.
Well, you're being overprotective. House doesn't need to be wrapped in cotton wool. But you know that, or you wouldn't have asked him to move out.
Okay. I guess this is really about me. It's just, I feel like a jerk. Sure, Sam and I are going to want to be on our own eventually, but I kind of sprang this on him. The right way would have been to just tell him to take as long as he needed, that there's no hurry.
So it's not what you did, but how you did it.
That matters in a friendship. I need to fix this.
Why don't you talk to him about moving back in? Just touch base.
We're having a consent issue with the patient.
Wait a minute, Taub's not here.
Yeah, he is.
We're having a consent issue with the patient.
What's Taub doing in my imaginary version of a scene with Wilson and Cuddy?
Your version needed to be ended, because it's crap. It's all sweetness and light and faith that I'm going to choose the right path. Yeah, that sounds like Wilson.
I have as much evidence for mine as you do for yours. I know Wilson's your friend, so he could be wondering if he did right by you. And I know he wouldn't have asked you to move out in the first place unless he was convinced you could handle life on your own.
And I know that he and Cuddy have got behind my back before to strategize about the house problem.
So there's truth in both versions, but you choose to focus on the parts that make you uncomfortable. So, why are you and Wilson friends? Do you think this friendship is the best you can do?
Wilson is not a consolation prize.
There. You're defending him. And a minute ago, he was skulking around in the background like some sort of manipulative Iago.
He's my friend.
So what do you value in him?
I can say whatever I want to him, and he'll never leave.
He's sort of leaving. At least he won't be around as much. Because he's putting Sam first.
For now. After the divorce, he'll probably ask me to move in again. I take the long view.
You say that to Wilson?
Are you kidding? That's the kind of remark that leads people to hate you.
Maybe you've been right from the beginning. Maybe this isn't about Wilson.
You say that now that I finally agree with you. Did you just argue the opposite of whatever I say?
Well, I don't mean the Wilson thing doesn't bother you, but it sounds like he's the closest you could come to a safe relationship. You'd have to do something major to screw it up. What else have you been involved in this week? What would you want to punish yourself for?
I told you I don't know.
Okay, let's approach it from a different angle. Have you gotten any other people angry at you over anything?
Well, yeah. That's why I call it an ordinary week.
Okay, tell me about it.